Now, if you have a sales interview coming up, you wanna make sure you watch this video because I'm gonna be showing you some of the best techniques and strategies you can use to prepare for your sales interview so that you can impress your future employer and land your dream job. What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick Dang with Sales Legacy, the ultimate online sales masterclass that's gonna show you how to start and accelerate your sales career. Now, before we go ahead and get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want to see more videos like this, and let's go ahead and dive in. So if you have a sales interview coming up, the first tip I have for you is you want to treat that sales interview like a sales meeting. And what I mean is that when a recruiter or a sales manager or a founder is interviewing you, a potential sales candidate, they're not just listening to what you are saying, they are listening to how you are saying it. Are you being persuasive? Are you telling stories? Would they want to buy something from you, right? How you do something is very important because how you interview is going to be a direct reflection with how you actually sell and communicate with potential customers. So treat the interview like you are selling yourself. And the first thing is obviously to know how to highlight all of your strengths and tell stories to exemplify that and show the person like, hey, if you hire me, I'm gonna do a great job for you. I'm gonna be closing deals, generating leads, anything you need, I got it, right? So highlight your strengths, obviously, and you have to prepare ahead of time what these strengths are, what stories you wanna tell that show that you are capable of doing a good job. And then also, when it comes to sales, it's not just being able to pitch, but also being able to listen, because the best salespeople are actually the best listeners. So what you wanna do in your sales interview and how you wanna prepare is that you wanna prepare questions you want to ask your potential employer during that sales interview. And specifically, you're learning about, okay, what pains does this interviewer have, right? What problems do they have? Are they having trouble finding the right candidate? What are the characteristics they are looking for a candidate that they just cannot find? And you wanna find those pains first and then show them in that interview like, hey, you're looking for someone that can generate leads and doesn't complain about cold calling. Well, just to let you know, I'm a master at cold calling and I don't complain at all, right? So it's all about listening to what the other person wants and aligning with who you are and what you can do to those pains and show that you are the solution. So that's effectively solution selling, right? So interviews the exact same thing as selling. It's all about solving problems for the customer or client, and in this case, it is the recruiter. Now, the next tip I have for you and ways to prepare for that sales interview is you want to show your energy and your enthusiasm, okay? This is extremely important in sales because how you say something, like I've been saying, is very impactful on how people perceive you and will determine whether or not someone likes you and ultimately buy from you. So if you don't have energy, if you don't have that enthusiasm when you're coming into a sales meeting, well, why would you have that when you are talking to a prospect or doing a cold call? If you don't have the energy, you're not going to be able to sell. So I actually have a story for you. So I remember one time I took a storytelling class, and this was when I had already started my sales career. And in the class, we had to, use a certain format, a storytelling format, and write a story and go in front of the class and we'd tell a story, right? That was the final project. And so when I wrote my story and I went up, I came in with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's great. And then after the professor critiques you, right? And they said, and I remember my professor said, Patrick, you had a lot of energy, enthusiasm, that was great, but you didn't follow my format. And to be honest, I didn't really have time to follow the format and do an excellent job because I was doing a full-time job at the same time, right? So, my bad on me, but she was like, and she said, the only reason for why people thought it sounded good was because of your energy and enthusiasm, that's it. But actually, you didn't follow any of the storytelling techniques that you were supposed to follow. Not any, but I missed a lot of the ones that I was supposed to use. So that just shows you that, from an expert's perspective, yes, I didn't do it right. Obviously they're a professor and they're looking for all these things. But when it comes to actually how people feel when they listen to my story, even if I'm not even following the story structure of what is a good story, because I have the energy and enthusiasm, people feel it and they gravitate towards it and they think it's a good presentation or a good story. So same thing with sales, right? Same thing with your interview, actually. You don't have to say the perfect thing. You don't have to, do everything perfectly. You can make mistakes, that's okay. But if you have the energy and enthusiasm, then, that's what people are going to gravitate to and it's gonna cover your mistakes, right? And I feel like for some salespeople, they have a certain energy to them that that if you just drop them in the middle of the forest, they're gonna be able to figure it out and find a way home, right? And so as a salesperson, you're kind of doing the same thing. You wanna show your intelligence, your energy, your enthusiasm, and that shows, this shows a lot in your personality, right? So if, right now I'm showing a lot of enthusiasm for this video because I wanna make it as entertaining for you guys watching this. But imagine if I did my sales videos like this. Hey everybody, today we're gonna be talking about how to crush your sales interview. So obviously there's a big difference between having low energy and having high energy. You can just feel it, right? But if I said the exact same thing and with high energy, it would be like, hey everybody, so today we're gonna show you some of the best ways and strategies and techniques to crush your sales interview and get your dream sales job. So pretty much saying the same thing. How I'm saying it, completely different, and I'm sure you feel the difference. Now, the next thing you gotta prepare for your sales interview is making a positive first impression. Now in sales, there's this rule where they say like, people will make a decision on whether or not they like you within the first 5 seconds of meeting you. Sometimes even faster, it could be even 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So the first impression is very important. It comes down to how you look, how you sound, and the words you say. The words you say, not very important. It's more about how you look and how you sound. So if you're going in for a in-person interview, so let's break it down, right? How you look is how you're dressed. Are you dressed appropriately for that interview, right? If you're not dressed in the right way, automatically people are gonna, filter you out because they're not gonna like you because you're not showing respect for the interview. If you are dressed great, move on to the next step. Then it's gonna be like, hey, how's it going? You shake their hand, right? So, when it comes to first impression, when it comes to the first handshake, how I typically like to do it is the handshake itself just needs to be firm, not too soft, like not too limp, because that's kind of weird, not too hard, right? I had experiences where people are like really gripping my hand and I'm like, dude, let go of my hand. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So not too soft, not too hard, because when you're overdoing something, it kind of raises a red flag in someone's head. They're thinking like, why is this guy shaking my hand so hard? That's kind of weird. Is he like overcompensating for something? Or, what's the deal? Or if it's too soft, it's like, is this guy, gonna be very assertive or girl gonna be assertive? So just firm, and essentially you wanna just like feel how they shake and kind of copy it essentially. And it's like a split second feeling. So just go with a firm handshake. You practice with yourself, practice with your friend, and then eventually you'll know what to do. After you shake so many hands, like you'll get the idea. If you're not meeting someone in person, then, it's all about the video, right? And so it's all about the clarity of the voice and how you sound. If it's over phone and video, and then just like your presentation when it comes to actually the camera. So just make sure you have decent lighting. It doesn't have to be amazing, just decent. People can see you. You're not dark. Hopefully you have like a not crazy background in the back and it's just like regular, right, at your house or wherever it is. And that's pretty much it, right? I would say one very important thing when it comes to online interviews or phone interviews is the clarity of your voice and how you sound. So from a technology perspective, make sure you have everything working. That's first of all, that the sound's not too loud, not too soft. And then from there, make sure that your voice is very clear and concise and people can clearly understand everything that you are saying. Don't mumble your words. I see that all the time where people, they talk like that and it's like, you can't understand what they're saying. So clear, concise, really enunciate your consonants and vowels. That's a trick I learned where, if you really emphasize every consonant and vowel, it just makes everything more clear and easy to follow. And by showing that clarity in your voice, well, it translates into sales because sales is communication with people. And by doing that, you're gonna be a lot more attractive as a sales candidate. And the next tip I have for you is you're gonna want to tell stories. So this is very important because when you are doing a sales interview, you don't want to just be like, yeah, I worked here, I hit my quota here, I'm really passionate about this job, I like golfing on the weekends. It's just like, okay, cool, but what's the story? What makes it interesting, right? Like I said before, when people are judging you on your sales interview, they're seeing how you actually sell yourself. So don't just go with the features and the facts and where you went to school, what's your GPA, what's your past experience. Don't just talk about those things. Tell a story of why it's important. So when somebody asks you something like, what's the best deal you ever closed? Or what's the most difficult deal you ever closed? Well, tell a story about it, right? Don't just be like, oh, I closed this client and then it was hard, whatever, right? Be like, this is one deal that, we're really excited about, but we weren't sure we're gonna get it. And so we did this and that, but then, everything wasn't gonna work. And then at the last minute, I came in with this thing and everything worked in the end, right? It's like, tell a story of, your accomplishments, like what you care about, why you care about these things, what you believe in. Stories is something that's just so natural to human nature. It's the way we communicate, it's the way we remember things, and it's the way we are entertained, especially nowadays. So if you are able to tell your experiences, your work experience in stories, people are very receptive to that and they remember you a lot more because they're not gonna remember all the facts about you, but they're gonna remember that story that you told that was really good. So prepare these stories ahead of time. Whatever it is you wanna highlight in your career and your strengths and you want to talk about these things in your sales interview, prepare those stories ahead of time so that when you get into the actual interview, you actually can just like crush it and do well. Now, the final tip I have for you is to practice, practice, practice. Now, this one's obvious, but not obvious at the same time. You want to practice your interview skills. You want to practice everything from the moment you shake someone, how you start the interview, how you tell your stories, how you close an interview, and how you show people you care. There's so many different elements of an interview that people don't really practice enough. And so you wanna make sure that everything is just airtight because, when you think about it, when you join a company and you want to be a salesperson there, it's not just like you're joining a company and it's like, okay, whatever, I joined this company. You're basically dedicating a certain percentage of your life, a big percentage of your life and your energy for this job. So you wanna make sure this job is the best one you can possibly get and that it really helps you in the long term, right? And so you wanna really take your interview seriously, and by taking it seriously, it comes down to the practice, Like, how well do you know your stories? How well do you know, like, let's say if you know that interviewers keep asking you the same objections, how well are you handling those objections and why they wouldn't hire you and how can you overcome those objections, right? And the only way to really get better is to practice either with the real interview itself and you're getting that real world experience. And if you're not getting enough interviews, you want to at least practice on your own, telling your stories, handling the objections, things like that, because it shows. Like, selling yourself in an interview is the exact same thing as selling a product and service. It just happens that you are the product, right? And so when you are selling yourself, so you wanna make sure you just practice, know what your weaknesses are, know what your strengths are, and know how you're going to present yourself in the actual interview. And one thing that really helped me a lot when it comes to practicing my sales skills or interview skills is recording myself. That is probably one of the biggest things you can do. Recording your interviews if you can, that would be amazing, right? Because you can replay it. So when you record yourself speak, it's very beneficial because you understand how you speak, how you sound, and you can start changing it and manipulating your voice in a way that is more pleasant and applicable to the real world, right? So that's practice and recording, and there's also recording the actual interview itself if it's allowed, or if you want to do it secretly, whatever the case is. That helps a lot because you can reflect on what you did well, what you didn't do well, and you fix the mistakes and you find the improvements, right? So recording is a huge thing. And a lot of times, like when you record yourself, you don't really like the way you sound, you don't like the way you look. I found that to be very true when I started recording myself at the first time in university. I gave it a try. And so in the beginning, you're not gonna like how you sound, but over time, when you improve, you're gonna love the way you sound because you're consciously working on it. So definitely practice, practice, practice in anything you do, and it's gonna get you very far. And so with that said, those are gonna be some of my tips when it comes to preparing for your sales interview. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you wanna see more sales videos like this. And also, if you are looking to start and accelerate your sales career, make sure to check out Sales Legacy, my online masterclass. A lot of my students have taken Sales Legacy from graduating from university, or they were working in a different industry and they wanted to transition into tech sales, or some people also took Sales Legacy when they already have a sales job and they want to just exceed their quota, generate leads, and close deals. So if you're one of these people and you are looking to start and accelerate your sales career, make sure to check out the link in the description. I got a 1-hour free training to give you a taste of my masterclass to see if it's a good fit for you. And then from there, if you want to move forward, great. If not, totally cool. So with that said, link is in the description. My name's Patrick Dang, and I'll see you guys in the next one.